Bold and the Beautiful spoilers reveal that the story between Ridge, Taylor, and Brooke is reaching a dramatic turning point, as Ridge has to make difficult decisions regarding the two most important women in his life. After a long period of psychological struggle, Ridge finally rejects Brooke's proposal, leaving her in a state of shock and confusion. This opens up a series of complicated plot lines, especially when Ridge decides to take Taylor to Europe for treatment in secret without the knowledge of anyone, not even Dr. Lee, who is directly treating Taylor. Ridge has long faced difficulties when his heart is divided into two halves. One side is Brooke, the woman he had a long-term relationship with many ups and downs. On the other side is Taylor, who is facing a serious illness, although he reconciles with Brooke and rekindles his love for her. Ridge still cannot shake off his sense of responsibility for Taylor, especially when her health condition worsens. While Ridge is secretly worried about Taylor, Brooke is immersed in happiness after she and Taylor have put aside their past conflicts to become close friends. To celebrate her reunion with Ridge and mark an important anniversary in her life, Brooke decides to propose to him. However, what she did not expect was that Ridge rejected this proposal. Ridge's decision not only surprised Brooke, but also left her in a state of shock, not understanding what had happened. While Brooke is busy planning her future with Ridge, Taylor is getting weaker and weaker due to a terrible disease. Although Ridge really wants to inform Steffi of this condition, he ultimately decides not to say anything because he does not want to hurt his daughter. Ridge's mind becomes chaotic when he is faced with the prospect of losing Taylor. He realizes that he cannot continue to delay Taylor's treatment and decides to take her out of town to seek help from medical experts in Europe. Not only does Ridge reject Brooke's proposal, he also decides to quietly take Taylor out of town without telling anyone. This includes keeping things a secret from Dr. Lee, who is treating Taylor, as Ridge believes that keeping things a secret will allow Taylor to get treatment without pressure from her family or the public. However, doing so also means he has to deal with hurt and misunderstanding from Brooke, who still doesn't know the truth about Taylor's health. Brooke, shocked by her rejection, will not let it go easily. She will start to question Ridge's actions, and his decision to disappear with Taylor without an explanation will put their relationship in a tense situation. Feelings of betrayal will arise as Brooke gradually discovers the truth about Taylor, and this could lead to a major confrontation between the two women once again, even though they have just reconciled. In short, the events surrounding Ridge's decision and Brooke's reaction will continue to create turmoil in the world of the bold and the beautiful, as all three main characters face difficult decisions and complicated emotions. Ridge will once again have to find a way to balance love and responsibility, while Brooke may have to come to terms with the fact that Ridge still has deep feelings for Taylor, especially as she deals with her illness. When Ridge rejects Brooke's proposal, she is left wondering why a man who seemed to love her so deeply would suddenly change. Brooke initially thought things were going well between her and Ridge, especially after she and Taylor reconciled. However, Ridge's secret departure from town with Taylor brings Brooke to a sudden realization, revealing that Ridge is not simply worried about his relationship with Taylor, but also has a strong urge to protect and care for Taylor in her critical health condition. Brooke understands that even though Ridge loves her, his responsibility to Taylor and past memories have pushed him to this decision. Steffi, while heartbroken that her mother and father had left town without warning, felt a little relieved to think that they might have chosen to get back together. For Steffi, the prospect of her parents reuniting was always a dream come true, especially with Taylor battling heart failure. But anxiety crept in when Steffi couldn't reach her parents, her desperate calls going unanswered, raising the fear that something was wrong. The feeling of unease grew as Steffi sensed an impending tragedy. Steffi's fears became a reality when she received the terrible news that Ridge and Taylor's flight to Europe had crashed. The terrible news was like a punch to Steffi's heart. She couldn't believe that her mother, who had just left town in hopes of a cure, had fallen victim to a plane crash. Even more tragically, Taylor died at the scene with no chance of survival. Ridge, though a little luckier, was in critical condition and was rushed to the hospital. Having to deal with Taylor's sudden passing and worrying about Ridge's life left Steffi almost completely devastated. The story became even more dramatic when Steffi was called to receive her mother's body. This was the most heartbreaking moment of her life. No one could prepare for losing a mother, especially in such tragic circumstances. Steffi always thought that her mother would pass away from heart failure, but no one expected that fate had arranged a much more painful ending. Taylor became the victim of a plane crash that caught everyone off guard. Taylor's death in the plane crash was a surprising turn in the plot. Before that, everyone focused on her heart failure, thinking that would be the reason for Taylor's departure. However, having her become the victim of an unexpected tragedy has brought a huge shock to the audience, and at the same time made the story more unpredictable. Will Steffi be strong enough to overcome this shock, or will the pain of losing her mother destroy her and push her down a dark path? The biggest question now is, how will Steffi handle this situation? She has lost her mother and father. This puts Steffi in an unpredictable situation. Will she become stronger, learn to face the pain and continue to live for her family, or will she collapse under this huge shock? What is certain is that Steffi will never be the same, and the decisions she makes after this event will shape the future of her character throughout the series. In short, this fateful plane crash has changed the entire story of The Bold and the Beautiful. No one could have predicted that Taylor would pass away in such a tragic way, and now Steffi is faced with unimaginable pain. Whether she can pull through and how this will affect the Forrester family are all big questions waiting to be answered.
Oh.